Everyone has a journey of some sort, whether it be as a caregiver or a patient when it comes to cancer. And we've heard of a few tonight that have shown how cancer impacts every facet of their lives and how they manage to move forward. We want to share one more journey with you, the journey of one of our own, Robin Haynes. Robin was only 27 when she was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer, an aggressive form of the disease that strikes the young and is more likely to recur. But she fought, she survived, and she has thrived. And tonight, she's telling how she did that. And Robin, let's start by telling people how you found out at such a young age.
Well, I'll tell you, I had just turned 27, and I was like everybody else. I felt a lump and kind of ignored it for a while, thinking, I'm too young, this can't be anything to worry about. And eventually my now husband had said, just go get it checked out. It'll make everybody feel calmer. So I went to the doctor, and the first thing she said is, you're too young, it's probably nothing. And that would be the first time, but certainly not the last, that I had heard that. So she ended up sending me along to the next doctor to get an ultrasound, a mammogram, having everybody tell me it's probably nothing, don't worry about it. So I probably had 5 or 6 doctors at this point telling me it's nothing to worry about. Eventually I went and saw a surgeon to do a biopsy. Even he suggested, why don't you just get it removed, the lump, because it, you know, just so it doesn't bother you. So I ended up doing that, and at that point he said nothing looks suspicious during the surgery. Everything looked like it's going to be just fine, so I'll call you when the results are in.
Well, then that must have been a shock when that call came. How did you and your family react when you got that call?
Well, I'll tell you, I got the call to come in and get the results. They didn't give me the results over the phone.
Okay.
I was in northern Michigan for a job at the time, so I was 6 hours away from family, friends, anybody. So I didn't really have support. So I went to the doctor's office by myself. I sat down. He said, how was your weekend? I said, great. He said, unfortunately, you have cancer. So, yeah, shock, scared, forever changed, I would say.
You were on the air at the time. Did you stay on the air? Did you continue working on in TV?
I did. I wore a wig, mostly because you don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable watching you. And it was very hard. I mean, not only are you going through all these changes, having all this surgery, you know, losing my hair, going through chemo, but I was doing it with a camera 2 feet in front of my face. So I was having to face all of my changes and all of my issues completely at face value.
What was the toughest part of your journey, would you say? Was it the chemo? Was it something else?
No, I wouldn't say any. I would say losing my hair was probably the toughest part. Mostly because I never felt sick until that moment. And losing everything else, you know, wasn't that big of a deal at the time.
A lot of people say the diagnosis changes them. I would imagine that was true in your case. How do you feel it changed you?
It absolutely changed me, I think, for the better. As cliche as it sounds, you kind of don't realize how strong you have to be until you're forced to be. And I appreciate so much the people in my life that I may not have been as grateful for before.
Talk about hope and how important the positive attitude is, and you talked about the support you had in family and friends, but there was not a resource where you were like the cancer support community. How important is that kind of thing, do you believe, to people in Central Ohio?
That's the case in a lot of situations where you may not have that strong group of people. I had to have my family and friends travel hundreds of miles to come with me, and I wish that there was something like that for me, just so I could ask somebody questions who've been through this, especially me being a young woman. I had a lot of issues that, you know, people couldn't really answer because they'd not been through it. Finding something like the cancer support community, you're always going to have somebody that's going to have been through a similar situation.
And they may even have some suggestions. If they talk about nutrition and diets and exercises and different kinds of things. Sharing the journey, though, is really an important part of what they do. And you're doing fine now, right?
I'm doing great, yes. I go to the doctor every 6 months, get checked out. I just went about 3 weeks ago and got the A-OK. And because of the seriousness, I guess, of my cancer, the triple negative, the 3-year mark was a real big celebration for me, and I made it. So
good. No, we are happy for you, and we're so glad, because we're glad you're with us in our family. here at Channel 4, and we're glad that your health is doing very well. If cancer has touched your life, we want to remind you about a resource available to you. The Cancer Support Community Central Ohio is a free resource offering support, education, and hope to anyone in our community.
To learn more about the Cancer Support Community, log on to our website, NBC4i.com. Go to the red box, click on news links.
And you can also get details about the Cancer Support Community's upcoming Night of Chocolate, dubbed the sweetest night in Central Ohio. The Night of Chocolate features thousands of confectionery delights.
Delicious. And proceeds from the event remain right here in Central Ohio to keep the Cancer Support Community programs cost-free.
We thank you for joining us here as we've shared these very special voices of hope.